Hey there guys, welcome to Dinos Vault and welcome to my review of the Pulsar RS 200 2017 model. Many of you kept requesting for this video, so finally here it is for you guys. Honestly, not much has changed with the RS 200, so in this video we'll find out whatever little has changed in this new 2017 RS 200. Then we will try and check out the differences between the RS 200 and the 200NS because I got many requests to do that as well. Finally, I'll also share my first ride impression of this new model, telling you guys as to whether the overall ride feel of the bike has changed with this new rendition. So without further ado, let's kickstart the show. First up, here's what's new with the 2017 RS 200 model. First of all, the bike now gets a BS4 compliant engine, which means the bike is more environment friendly now. Secondly, we have the visually apparent new paint schemes with the newly laid out body graphics. The bike is now available in Demon Black and Racing Blue color variants. I have featured the black color in this video and will be doing a separate video for the blue color when time permits. And thirdly, the RS 200, just like the other Pulsars, doesn't get the light switch now because it comes with AHO or always headlamp on function, which means the headlamp turns on the moment you start the bike. We do, however, get a control switch to switch between high beam and low beam. Technically speaking, I believe that's about it for the changes. Next, we'll look at the differences between the RS 200, which is still the flagship Pulsar, and the 200NS, which is the street king that's making a strong comeback on popular demand. The first noteworthy difference here is that the RS 200 gets fuel injection, whereas the 200NS does not. Both the bikes get liquid cooling, the 4-valve engine, and Bajaj's patented triple spark technology. Power figures wise, the RS 200 with the added advantage of having fuel injection on board puts out 1 PS of more power and 0.3 Newton meters of more torque. Thirdly, the RS 200 comes with a full fairing that not only offers better road presence but also gives you the flexibility and versatility to enjoy this bike for daily use, take it out for weekend rides, and also put your knee down at track day events. Fourthly, the front windshield on the RS 200 helps you fend off any wind blast while riding on the highways. Next, also the twin projector headlamps on the RS 200 are very powerful and offer superb light spread at night. Now both the lights come on when you switch to high beam mode, and the light spread is undoubtedly one of the best in and around its price range. The RS 200 also gets a 13-liter tank as opposed to the 12-liter tank on the 200NS, which is always welcome. Another important point to note here is that the RS 200 gets a larger 300mm front disc, whereas the 200NS gets a 280mm unit up front. Next, the wheelbase of the RS 200 is shorter by 8mm, which translates into better cornering capabilities. The ground clearance of the RS is down by 10mm when compared to that of the 200NS. Still, I think 157mm is more than sufficient on our Indian road conditions. Also, the exhaust note of the RS sounds better than that of the 200NS. So let's go ahead and listen to it now. And last but not the least, the RS 200 gets the crucial single channel ABS, whereas the 200NS misses out on that even as an option. Now so far the argument has been favoring the RS 200, but here's where the 200NS hits back and scores over the RS 200. The seats on the 200NS feel more comfortable when compared to that of the RS. The 200NS is 13 kgs lighter than the RS 200, hence it clearly enjoys the weight advantage. The longer wheelbase of the 200NS results in better high-speed stability on the empty straights. Also, the higher ground clearance of the 200NS helps you take on bad roads, bumpy roads, and even some nasty speed breakers without worrying about the bottom of the bike scraping. Now, talking about the engine refinement, though both the engines are refined, the NS feels creamy and smooth in its refinement feel, whereas the RS has still got a sporty grunt to it. The clutch feel for both the bikes is lighter. The throttle response for both the bikes is light and responsive, but the RS feels just a tad more responsive off the mark going by my experience. The gear shifts are pretty smooth for both the bikes, and both the bikes get a 6-speed gearbox, but the one thing that both these bikes miss out on is a gear position indicator in the speedo, which I think is crucial, especially when we have a 6-speed transmission. Also, the 200NS does enjoy the price advantage over the RS by a significant margin, but still the RS does justify its higher price tag by offering the extra bits like an effective and more attractive full fairing, fuel injection, single channel ABS, etc. Now let me quickly share with you my first ride impression of this new 2017 RS 200. Now looking at the engine specs, we get the same 199.5cc engine that puts out a max power of 24.5 PS at 9750 RPM and a max torque torque of 18.6 Newton meters at 8000 RPM, and this comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. Now taking the bike out for a spin, I noticed that the bike remains pretty much the same as its preceding model, though the refinement level seems to have improved slightly. The bike offers good pickup right off the mark. The throttle response is nice and light and instant. I believe this comes courtesy of the fuel injection system that ensures the fueling is precise. The bike revs happily across the rev band without being strained, and this comes courtesy of the 4 valves that allow the engine to breathe easy. The triple spark technology provides for superb combustion efficiency, which results in more power and better fuel economy. The seats remain pretty much the same. One thing I like about the RS is its versatile nature that sets it apart from the likes of the RC200, which is purely a track-focused bike. The RS200 gives you the flexibility of using it for daily commutes, enjoying your weekend rides with your friends, and also nailing the apex at track day events that you might attend. Now, though we get clip-on handlebars on the RS, the positioning of the handlebars along with the ideally set rider foot pegs ensure that you can ride the bike with an upright seating posture, and at the same time you can also tuck yourself in behind the windscreen and blaze through the track. Now, this is what works to the favor of the RS200 and sets it apart from its rivals. Also, I want to answer one more frequently asked question about the RS200, which is regarding the single channel ABS that it features. Now, the question that usually arises is, though this bike gets only single channel ABS that is operational on the front wheel of the bike, we see the ABS rings or sensors being present on both the front and rear wheels. Now, the answer to that is the RLP feature that this bike presumably gets because it isn't particularly highlighted by Bajaj. Now, RLP stands for Rear Wheel Lift-Off Protection. So what happens here in the case of RS200 is that the ECU receives inputs from both the front and rear wheel sensors about the wheel speed and releases appropriate braking pressure on the front wheel, ensuring effective braking without the front wheel locking up and the rear wheel lifting off. Now, though ABS isn't operational on the rear wheel, the RLP feature prevents the rear wheel from lifting off under harsh braking conditions, thereby offering a more controlled, effective and safer braking mechanism. Now please note, and I always keep saying this, that having ABS on board doesn't mean you ride at breakneck speeds and expect ABS to save the day under panic braking scenarios. ABS too has its own set of limitations, so always ride at speeds wherein you can control the bike should any unforeseen situation arise. Now with this clarification out of the way, let's look at the brakes. We get a 300mm disc up front and a 230mm disc at the back. We get pedal discs all around which offer better heat dissipation. The brakes are quite effective because, as you can see here, I am doing nearly 70 km per hour as I slam on the brakes. The bike does come to a standstill in a controlled manner without skidding or losing control. So having ABS on board does make a lot of difference. Now looking at the suspension, we get telescopic forks with anti-friction bush up front and a Nitrox gas-charged monoshock at the back. Suspension is another area where the RS200 scores over the likes of RC200 because the setup isn't too stiff to bother your groin area while riding over the city potholes, nor is it too soft that you end up bouncing around at higher speeds. It is comfortable enough to tackle the city road conditions while also offering good stability at higher speeds. Now talking about the wheels and tires, we get 17-inch wheels with tubeless tires. We get a 100/80 tire up front and a 130/70 tire at the back. The tires do offer good road grip. Now looking at other noteworthy specs, seat height is 810 mm, which I think is manageable for shorter riders and average height riders and almost ideal for taller riders. Ground clearance is 157 mm and fuel tank capacity is 13 liters. Mileage wise, I think we can expect around 38 to 40 kmpl from this bike, and this figure may change depending on riding style and riding conditions. Price ex-showroom Hyderabad for the new 2017 RS200 BS4 model. The non-ABS variant is priced at around Rs 1.24 lakhs and the ABS variant is priced at around Rs 1.36 lakhs. Well, that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless and ride safe.